Alabama at Texas A&M. This game seems like it's been really good every single time that we've watched it over the last few years. It seems like it's always about a field goal game. Comes down to the last few plays or a game-winning drive. Yeah, I I do have a play on this game, and it's Texas A&M plus 2.5.
Mhm.
I like Texas A&M in the spot. I think that it's a good matchup. As I talked about earlier, college football is about the matchups. There is nobody to match up and threaten Texas A&M down the field in this game. And I feel like it's going to make it really difficult for Alabama to score points because I feel like it's going to be really obvious what Alabama's going to try to do in this game, and that's run the ball. And if you're going to be obvious in your attempt to run the football and that be a primary um, moving factor for your offense, you've got to have the dudes up front to make that happen. And Alabama has proved to us time and time again that they do not have the dudes up front this year to make that happen against a big boy team like Texas A&M. Texas A&M historically has been good against the run. I think they continue the trend here, and Alabama being an obvious running team is not helping the situation at quarterback. I think it's extenuating the circumstances. Um, what do you think about this game? And we'll pull up the numbers here and we'll take a look. What's your take on this game? I like Texas plus the 2.5 here.
Yeah, and that's also one of my picks as well. That's a best bet for me is Texas A&M plus 2.5. But when you look at the numbers here, okay, take it all in, right? Um, I was a little bit surprised by Alabama's defensive numbers. Now they're good, but they're not as great. They're not as dominant as I thought that they would be. Their tackles for loss is at 14th in the country at 37. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
But outside of that, I mean, they're what a top 35, in pretty much every other category. So top 40, if you include opponent red zone conversion,
yeah,
that's that's good, but it's not great. And we note that their offensive numbers aren't that great. And you look at what Alabama wants to do on offense is run the football, and they're only at 82nd in the country as far as efficiency goes, 4.09 yards per attempt. Texas A&M is better in every single category on this list, including tackles for a loss. They're in second at 49
wow,
on the season. So the the thing that really strikes me is that the turnover margin down here at the bottom, Texas A&M is at -4, and they've been able to kind of manage that in some ways. Now they had three last week, and I'm not sure if they got one back, but um, you know. I think that that's surprising to me, and that's pretty telling that they've been beating teams and turning the ball over more and finding ways to win games outside of the Miami game. So I think that Texas A&M statistically is just far and away a better team than Alabama right now. I think that you would be smart to play Texas A&M on the money line. Um, I'm also I'm also going to take my best bet here and take this game to be under 46.5 points. I think that that's a pretty smart play, just given the speed that both of these teams kind of want to take things. And um, I think that these are two good defenses, and Texas A&M is a pretty great defense. So I think that the under is a safe bet here as well. And I think that Texas A&M is going to win by about 10 points in this game. It's at Kyle Field.
wow,
I think that's where Jimbo was able to get him a couple years ago, and
yeah,
I think that he's going to get him again. And I feel really good about this play. I don't like I'm not like crossing my fingers or anything like that. I feel really good about it, and I think the numbers back my feeling on this.
yeah. Well, I think you talked me into the money line. I think that's what I'll go do. Is go hit that money line because 2.5. I mean, I think we both feel like Texas A&M can definitely win this game. What it's going to boil down to is Max Johnson versus that Alabama secondary is what I think it's going to boil down to. And with that being said, I think Texas A&M is definitely going to have to be able to establish a run, which they have. But I think they'll have to establish a run, take a little bit of pressure off Max Johnson, and hopefully he can hit him with some play action, and Bobby Petrino can mix it up with those wide receiver routes and things like that. So I like Texas A&M in this spot. They've done really, really well in this situation the last few years. I think this is the worst Alabama team we've seen in a while. I think everybody pretty much is on that same boat. And I think Texas A&M is pretty decent. I think everybody got down on them whenever they gave up almost half 100 to Miami earlier this year, and I understand. But I think Miami's a good team. So, it was early in the year. It was at a point where these these defensive stats for Texas A&M obviously didn't look like that after facing Miami, and so they've done a lot to get those numbers back down, and they've played some teams that have great offenses at times, but I like Texas A&M here, and I like both of our picks on that one for sure. Let's keep it moving if you